Well, thanks for joining us here today. My name is Iker. I am leading the design of Softr. I joined the company a year ago, and today what we're gonna see is basically how design is evolving at Softr, the plans we have for the future, also what we have done in the past months, and how are we trying to solve the problems that you are facing when designing applications with Softr, basically. So to start, let's take a look at the origins of Softr. Every tech company has their own origins, and we have our own as well. So these are some examples of other companies when they were released. Like this was Twitter's sign-up page on 2006, YouTube's 2006, Google, and we also have our own origins, as I was saying. So this was Softr only 2 years ago. It was released as a website building platform with many design limitations, with like very basic blocks and so on. And as you noticed, probably if you logged into Softr in the last months, you have seen the evolution. So this is how Softr looks like today. So in the last months and years, we have been working on improving this. And the first thing that we have done on the design team is, well, first, to have a design team. That it didn't happen at the very beginning. So now we have a design team. We are building the team. And the first thing that we did was to define our design principles. So everything that we design for Softr is related to these principles that we defined. And I wanted to share with you those principles so you have the context of how are we doing things at Softr. So the first one is that we want to be delightful for the users to build applications, but also iconic. So when you think about an app builder, a no-code app builder, you think about Softr as an iconic product. Besides that, we want to be also playful and fun, so you enjoy creating those applications, but at the same time, we want to be functional. So we want you to spend some good time building those applications, but at the same time, to be functional and not only fun. We want to be also modular and flexible, so you can build the different products you need to build only using Softr. Lizzie was mentioning before that, of course, there are like some design limitations, and we're going to talk about those ones later on, and I will explain you which are the plans to improve that design flexibility. And the last one is that we want to be connected with other products, not only with data sources, but also with other third-party products that can make your applications even more powerful. So the vision we have on the design team is that we want to make the experience of building an application delightful, engaging, simple, and also fun. So again, we want you to enjoy the experience of building an application and enjoy the process of building this application. We want to be inspired by other products that we really like for many different reasons. These are some examples, but for instance, like it is amazing how Framer presents the blocks that the users can use, or the user experience when people are responding to a type form, or maybe the brand design related to pitch. So we want to be inspired by these companies, and we want to be at that level, not only on the design of the product and experience, but also on how the company is perceived from the design point of view. So these are some of the references that we want to be inspired by. And like related to those companies, we want Softr, the platform, to be intuitive, balanced, easy to use, and accessible. And also at the same time, we want this to be playful, enjoyable, fun, and in a way to be simple for you to create those applications. So we want to be simple yet powerful, which is one of like our taglines. So in the end, the goal for us as a design team is to help the users in creating visually appealing, easily navigable, and accessible applications with just a few clicks. And this is one of the main problems we're facing on the design team, which is like to help users on creating those good-looking and professional applications. So again, like the product was released 2 years ago with very basic blocks and so on. We have been improving them, and now we want to help users not only on creating the applications in a simple way with a few clicks, but also making sure that the applications you create with Softr are going to be professional, accessible, and good-looking. And to do that, we have a plan. So in the end, we want you to be able to create like good-looking and accessible applications. We have been working lately on creating new templates, and that's a good example of like how do we want to improve the applications designed with Softr. So now we are like putting a big effort on creating better templates by default that you can use. We want these applications also to be responsive and not only to look good on desktop, but also to be accessible and to look good on any device that the users will use. And again, like related to these topics, we discovered a few areas of improvement that I'm going to show you now. So thanks to the amazing community we have been in touch with many users. We read like all your requests. We have been reading on Reddit, Twitter, on our Slack community, and everywhere. And we realized that there are some areas of improvements related to design that we want to tackle and that we want to improve during this year 2023. And these are these areas that we want to focus on during this year. The first one is the design flexibility. We know that we're not so flexible on design. Like, we are a very vertical tool, so you can build applications basically by putting one block after the other. So it's like a very vertical application. We want to improve that flexibility, and we have a plan for that. I will show you later. We want to also improve, as I was saying, the quality of the design of the platform, but especially the quality of the design of the applications you create with Softr. So in the end, what I want to see as a design person is like that applications created with Softr are very well designed and that they have like a very good high quality, standard quality. We want to help you styling the applications in a simple way. This is one of the areas that we know that you are like struggling with, because today it is quite difficult to style the applications. Basically, you can style many things, but we know it is very tedious and it's frustrating because you have to go component by component. You have to change certain elements, then you have to go back to another component, do it again. It takes a lot of time. If you have two similar blocks, you have to do it twice. Maybe you don't remember the properties that you applied to a form, then you have to do it again to a different form. And we know this is like very difficult. This is, again, the way that Softr was done 2 years ago, but this is one of the main things we want to improve this year. So we want to give you more control over design in a simpler way. So we want you to control the design of that form, or we want you to control the design of the card on a list page by like having a better design panel to apply those changes. And of course, we want to improve the responsiveness of all the blocks. In the end, we want to help users creating those professional and visually appealing applications. So in order to solve these problems and areas of improvement, these are some of the projects that we're working at the moment that we're planning to be released at some point during this year. I think these projects will have a huge impact on the way that you design applications at Softr, and also on how those applications look when you present that outcome to your end users. So the first topic is the flexible layout. So this is actually planned for this quarter, like not to be released. I mean, to start working on this quarter, then we'll have to work on implementing it and releasing it. But Softr, instead of like being just a vertical app builder, it will be more modular and flexible, similar to other products. And so it means that you will be able to put blocks side by side and customize the columns and the layout of your applications. Thanks to this, you will be able to, I don't know, create dashboards that contain different charts side by side. You will be able to create more complex layout. Or for instance, like a page where you have like a form and on the other side you have like an image or a text or any other kind of block. So this will be possible thanks to this flexible layout. Another topic that we're working on this year is on improving the default design of our main core blocks. We're working on improving the forms, the list details, header, hero block, tables. So what we want is, first, to give you a much better design by default out of the box. So when you add one of those blocks, it will look much better. The responsiveness of the block will be better. And also the way that you interact or design this block will be better. So we'll make sure that the images have a certain aspect ratio. We'll make sure that the buttons are compliant with certain accessibility rules and so on. So we are at the moment working on the redesign of this block. So this is an example of how the vertical cards will look like. We're doing the same for the horizontal cards, so they will be much better. We're going to use spacing better, sizes, responsiveness, design style, and so on, and we're unifying all the design of all the blocks. The same thing with like very core blocks like the header. So we are also redesigning the header, where you will be able to define like categories, some hover effects, like multiple menus and action buttons and avatars and so on the header in a different way. And by default, again, it will look better, and it will help your applications to look better. We will implement some other properties that you are requesting that are not possible today, like for example, opacity or maybe background blur or better shadows, just to make the application to look better by default. Together with the header, we will also implement, of course, a better vertical navigation to make your applications look more like an application rather than a website. So this is an example of what we're implementing for the header, which is like a vertical navigation where you have like a better access to the user account, better access to the buttons, and multiple level navigation that will, again, make your application look more like an application rather than a website. As I said before, also Lizzie mentioned that we're going to work on Forms 2.0, which is like adding conditional logic to the forms, similar to other form builders have. And together with that new implementation, we're going to also revamp the look and feel of those forms. So again, you will have the capabilities to redesign how the form looks like on your application. But what we're going to make sure is that by default, that block looks much better, and whatever change you make on the form is going to be consistent, and it will look better as well. So these are some examples of the new forms we're designing. And the same thing with the table. The tables will look better. We're going to implement some of the missing features, like having like sticky columns and so on. And all of that, of course, being accessible and responsive. One of the things that we're implementing together with this like redesign of the blocks, and which is very important, is to improve the way that you interact with the design of those blocks. As I was saying before, we know that today it is very difficult for you to make changes on the different components because it is very granular. You have to go very deep in layers and then make changes that you might not remember, and then you have to apply the same change. For instance, if you go to a form, you have to go field by field, change the color of the border or change the background of the border. That's very tedious, that's very difficult. So we are implementing a new tab on the settings of the blocks, which is going to be called styling or theme panel or something like that. We don't know yet, where you will have all the options related to that block on a high level. So let's say that you are on a form, you will have there the spacing, the background color of the fields, and the color of the button. So you can change everything there. So you can select that the space between elements will be small or medium or large, and it will implement that spacing around, like in between all the components around the block and so on. So let's say that you want to have like an application with a lot of white space. You will be able to set up that you want like large spacing, and you can do the same on the form, but also on the header, also on the list block, and maybe at some point we will centralize everything on a themes panel. So you can go to the themes panel and you can change the main things on your application that will be applied all over the application. And probably it is still like under discussion, and we are exploring like different ideas, but you will be able probably to copy those styles and apply it into a different block. So let's say that you have a list block with like a certain styling, so you can copy that style and apply to maybe a different list block, so you have the same style. So if you are using red color on the buttons with very big border radius and a lot of spacing around, you will be able to copy that and put it on the other block. And we are also like thinking on having a small box for custom CSS for that particular block that you could copy from one block to another. So in a way, what we want is first to make the blocks better by default, and also like improve the way that you are interacting with the design of those blocks. Together with this, as I was saying, we want to improve the way that you style or theme your entire application. So we are thinking on a way that you will be able to style your application on different levels. So you have like the themes panel at a very high level where you can define the global settings of your application, but for real, like space around, main color, color of the links, typography of a few components, and so on. So like almost every user, like with that panel, it should be enough. You can customize the fav icon, the logos, like everything like on a very high level on that panel. Then if you want like certain design changes to be done in a block, you will be able to go to that block styling panel and you will have the main things. And of course, you will also have the access to the component level, but we're expecting like this to be something like for very specific use cases. So we don't want users to have to go component by component, even though you will be able to do that if you want to. If you want to have like, I don't know, on a header, one of the items to be red because it's, I don't know, like something forbidden or anything like that, you will be able to decide that that item will be red, but it will be very specific cases. What we want is you to go to the header styling panels, and you can select the size of the list items, and like you can change all of them at the same time. You can change the color of them at the same time, and you can change the hover color of those items in one single click. So we want to improve this experience, and we're working on that at the moment. Together with the, yeah?
Can we create a logo from scratch with Softr?
Sorry, say it again?
Can we create a new logo from scratch with Softr?
A logo?
Yeah.
You can upload your logo.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Not create.
No, not create. So it is, yeah, you update your logo, but yeah, as it is today, actually. But what I mean is by centralizing everything, we have an idea that maybe on a themes panel, you can upload the 3 logos your application needs, and that logo will be applied across your application. So if you have a sign-up form, a login form, the header, the footer, so the logo will be applied all over your application. So you don't have to go like block by block and upload or grab the image and put it there, because everything will be centralized and it will be very easy to customize. And together with the redesign of the blocks, we're partnering with Untitled UI, which is an icon library that we want to implement. So today you can use Font Awesome in certain parts of the application, but we want to implement this library, which is like much better in terms of design. It contains many more icons, and when we release the new blocks, we want to release them together with this library that you will be able to use. So you will be able to use these icons in buttons, list items, or like everywhere in the application. And to make it possible, we are working on shared components. So certain components will be shared at the application level. So that means that from that theme panel or from the styling panel of the blog, you will be able to make those changes globally instead of component by component as it is today. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you is that we are also implementing this at this moment, which is like for you to be able to change the layout of any block. So like today, if you add a list, a vertical list, you map everything, you do the whole work, and then you realize that maybe you prefer horizontal list, or maybe you want to use like a vertical cards, but with a tag within the image. You have to add a new block, you have to remap everything, and then you have to delete. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have basically one block per category. So like list, form, header, and then you put like all your information, you do the whole mapping, and then at any time you will be able to change from one layout to another, so you don't lose the whole work that you have done. This is also very important, and again, this is because we want to improve the way you design your application. We want to make it simpler, and we want to make sure that the applications will look good. So for this year, again, we are redesigning the list details, table forms with the new conditional forms, the header and the hero blocks. So again, like back to what I said before, presenting you the new design things we're doing this year, these are the areas of improvements that we wanted to tackle this year: the design flexibility, the quality of design, how do you style applications, having more control over the design, and improving the responsiveness of the applications. And to solve these areas, we're working on the flexible layout, the new blocks, the new styling concept, shared components, and better responsive by default. So besides this, now that we have a design team and we are actually hiring more designers, we want to improve the design awareness at Softr and be closer to the community. And we also are planning to stay closer to you by maybe sharing the progress of the projects we're working on platforms like Dribbble, or maybe as other companies like Airtable does, to have a Figma community profile where we share some of the files that we're creating on Figma so other users can also use them. Like, I don't know, for example, this is our color picker, so maybe we could share this color picker on Figma, so some designers can also like reuse this component on their designs if they want to, just to be closer to the community and to gain some awareness related to design. So we want to continue attending design conferences, meetups like this one. We want to be part of blogs, and again, we want to be closer to no-code community, not only to no-code community, but also to design community specifically to no-code as well. And in the end, like, as I said before, when I show you this like slide with our the companies that are inspiring us, in the end, we want to become a design reference. So when someone thinks about a company that has a very good design, it can be Typeform or it can be Framer. So we want Softr to be at the same level as well. And we're working towards that goal. So yeah, so we want to keep the experience of building applications simple, but also powerful at the same time. I guess now it's time for questions.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
maybe, yeah, questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all this. If you want to take this one, you just put it in your.
You can do this.
It's
Just like anywhere?
Yeah. Which one is yours? Sorry.
Recrutados, like this, the third one.
Do you need to see the screen?
Yes,
If I can
right?
see it here, it's
Let me-
you know.
Yeah, but you cannot see it here. So I will mirror the screen 1 second. Let me. Because whatever you see here is different from whatever you see there. So I'm gonna mirror it. No, I'm gonna mirror the screen.
How many of you guys have built an app in Softr and like published it? I'm just curious. Okay, and then just like played around.
Sorry, we just need a minute to reconnect that.
Sure.
Disconnect again.
Can you send the link?
Yeah, because I mirror the thing, so now we know the
You're good?
Thank you.
So whatever you see here is also on the link.
Perfect.
All right.
So we've been one of the early adopters of Softr. We've been using it for maybe a year, and it's quite incredible how quickly you release new features. So we're very happy with the application. A bit sad to hear that you're not planning on supporting, or let's say to focus on web applications, basically targeting end users. But I totally understand it makes sense. So what we do basically is we recruit nurses from Latin America, intermediate them to healthcare institutions in Germany. The product vision is basically to offer a step-by-step guide to work immigrants to any country you want to go and you want to work there. You could sign up on the platform in the future and then basically be guided through the immigration process while being connected to employers who are seeking international talent from abroad. And the nurse market is simply the entry market. We have a lot more nurses than employers at the moment, so we started to build a product for them. But technically, it would be a platform so employers could also sign in and then basically browse through candidates. So this is just simply the website, nothing extraordinary, I would say. You can apply here, you can translate the website. We integrated Weglot for that, so it's multilingual. We have the cookie banner to be compliant as well, which was also a free integration in Softr. And then you can sign in. I have to look up the login because I didn't memorize it.
And you're the founder of this company?
Yeah, I mean, currently it's still a side project. Let's say very advanced side project.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm still employed full time in another job. I'm working right now technically. So. Don't tell my employer. How do you put the add button here?
Oh, the Spanish people are Where'd it go? The at, the ampersand.
It's option 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Option 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the same problem. I don't have the.
We have to use symbols on the password.
Only underscore. I think I can manage the underscore.
That's where the magic comes in handy.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the dashboard. It's an invite-only app at the moment. We could change that, but it's at the moment just an invite-only app. We're not 100% convinced by the sidebar yet, but I understand there are advanced or improvements being planned in the future. This is why we opted for an option like this. So basically, you have your profile here. We are on the professional plan, so we opted only for one field edit permissions. So basically, when you sign up, you have all your information here. Unfortunately, and this would be great actually, if you had here on the left top, basically like, you know, the steps when you move a step forward, you can see like the history of for going back. That would be, I don't know what you call it. Like usually when you're in an application, let's say there's home, then there would be a slash, and then there would be like.
You can have an animation based on the condition. And,
exactly.
but
So
yeah, it's not native.
So you know where you are in the app, and you could just basically go backwards, or like a back button here would be great. You could edit your profile here. So this is the workaround that we implemented. You could return to the dashboard here with this click. You could upload your documents here. This is also a little workaround, but I understand in about 2 weeks you implement hidden fields for the table. So basically here you can upload your documents that you need for migrating to Germany, basically, or validating your title. We implemented also like a little wiki so people upload the right documents. You would choose the document here, and then you could upload it. It would be added here, and we can leave comments on Airtable in order to make sure people upload the right documents.
Can I just for anyone newer, I think there's some newer folks. So just to clarify, like whenever the user uploads their information into the app, then it automatically updates on the database. So just to like clarify that if anybody is new.
Yeah, and maybe to show here in the table, I mean, you could also change the document here. You can leave a comment, and unfortunately, right now it wouldn't be mapped to a user. That's why we have this, but it will be removed, and in 2 weeks it should work like that as well. Then we have a timeline feature here, basically guiding the people through the process, and they can see, okay, this is completed, this is still pending, what they need to do, so they have an idea of how they advance in the program. And then we have, lastly, the language area. So we kind of implemented our own language academy also on Softr. Here, it would show them in which unit they are currently. They could click an action button and directly be guided to Unit 2, when the next internal exam is, and when the external exam is they would need to take. So basically here we have a list view where they could choose by which level they could go to the units, and then via iframe we implemented like some exercises and so on and so forth. This is also a workaround. We used a form in order for writing exercises. We tried it with the comment function. It didn't work so well. We were in contact with support as well. But this is a workaround that works, I guess, because you can add hidden fields in the upload function. Here they can see the exam results as well in this view, and then there's just like a little FAQ at the end. And yeah, this is basically the MVP we built. Of course, we're limited here and there in things we want to do, but I mean, to validate an MVP, it works great, actually.
Wow.
Thank you. The business idea?
Okay, yeah.
Well, the skill gap in the skill gap in the healthcare sector is known everywhere in Germany. And my wife is from Argentina, and she told me that she could easily get nurses So we built a website basically overnight, and the next day we had like hundreds of applications. And then we thought to take it a little further. And yeah, the healthcare sector is very difficult because of the language requirements. So we're exploring options to basically expand to other professions that could be sufficient to speak English. And then you could basically scale it around the world, basically, wherever people want to migrate for job reasons, they could use the platforms, and employers that are, at least in Germany, seek talent, and it's very difficult to find, they could attract international talent by the means of the platform.
That's so cool. Wow.
Yeah, happy to also discuss the idea later. I mean, we're always open for feedback. But yeah, this is where we are right now. And we're currently evaluating basically to move on to Bubble because just of the limitations. But for validation purposes, it worked great, really. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks. Oh man, I'm stressed. Oh, just 5 minutes. All right. I'm gonna lower the expectation. This is a pet project, guys. So please, after that one, great job, by the way. Also, by the way, it's free, right? So you don't monetize it, right?
Employers pay a commission.
Oh yeah, okay, great. All right, so a bit kind of the same idea here, kind of a job board, same idea, but for local jobs in Belgium. So you can see it's pretty simple. There's like a home page, right? And you can basically do two things. So you want me to put it higher? Okay. Is it better now? All right. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Cool guy. So basically, we have a home page. You can find opportunities, but if you're not registered, you can't find anything. So this is just a call to action to say, oh, I want to find a job in no code in Belgium because people don't know exactly where to go to. So why I did that? The rationality behind this is that I want people to register before finding a job. But if you want to post a job, then you can do it without signing in. And actually, it's not the case anymore because I changed the website last week. But okay, so the idea was to help people to, well, I'm going to do two things at the same time. That's not good. So actually, I opened, before this update last week, you could post a job as an employer without signing in. Why? Because actually, it's in the job board, you have the chicken and the egg, what for the marketplace. And you don't know if it's the demand or the offer. And my rationality was like, okay, employers can wait to find employees, to find talent, but not the other way around. If you have people going on there, local developers or people who are looking for a mission, they're really impatient. They're going to go there, they're going to see that there is nothing, no jobs, so they're going to leave, which is not exactly the thing the other way around. So for employers, they can wait, so they have more at stake, so they can wait. That was the idea why it was possible to post a job without signing in, but you had to post a job. Where's that here? Yep.
Option 2.
Oh, option 2. No. The dot. The fuck. Where's the dot? Where's le point? But... okay, good, thanks. Yeah, it's good. Thanks. No, I was looking for the dot. Up, and the at is option 2, right? Okay. 05. Option 2. iCloud.com. Again. Dot. And the M is. Yeah. All right. All right. So there you can find a job. It's really like MVF, minimum viable features, right? it's not MVP. It's not. But you can apply for a job here, and then once you applied, there is a Airtable behind this, and in the Airtable you can see who has applied to which job. And same for post a job. You can post a job as a company, and then it will be there. this is MVF, as I said. So if you want to give feedback, you can go here and just give me your feedback about the application for the UX. And troll are welcome. So do troll me, please. All right, guys.
Okay, last one, then we can have a coffee. Or if I manage to bring it out. All right. So this is one of my projects that I'm running. It's a private community, a small community where people who are passionate about operations, ops, so who are learning and want to keep practicing to become better operators. I don't know, I would say we don't have a no-code engineer, whatever. People who are focused on Airtable. You can see here the logos. It's the tool we use in the challenges. So basically, it's every 2 weeks there is a new challenge, and people can train and well, I will show you real quick. We're actually, some people are using Softr also in the challenges, but this is something we'll talk later. So I will have to connect also. So you will see again the pain of having to type in with the Spanish keyboard, but hopefully I managed to. So all the illustration, yeah, I didn't really show all the illustrations are made with Midjourney, of course. I really like it, and I'm a terrible designer. So, it's pardon, désolé. So now it's going to be painful. No, maybe I managed the first time. Let's see. No, yes, I did. All right. So when you enter, it's basically like you're entering. This is the web. This tool is like the internal tool of the Cercle, like this private community. So that's where people find the resources and everything. So it's like an intranet or something like this. So yeah, this is all like all the illustrations. It's like if you're entering a club. Like I like the idea of like a British club, something like this. So this is your office. Here you will find, so it's all in French, sorry for that. You will find here is the challenge that is being currently. So it's basically, it's building an operating system for a company that handles technicians, something like this. So if you click on it, you will arrive. So I've already done the challenge. There is a lot of permissions here on this project. I had to push really the limits of Softr and Airtable to handle the permissions, because depending on if you already done the challenges or not, you will see something different. Something went wrong. Oh,
conditional filters in your dynamic blocks.
There's been an update that has, oh, it's working. So yeah, so basically this is, so there's a video of me telling the brief, the challenge that the people have to do. This is a text that, remember, and then this is the solution because I've already done the challenge. This is a brand new challenge, so no one has done it yet. But normally you would see, if I go back, so there's already 20 challenges. So here is the salle du temps, is where people train. So some people will understand the reference. So if I go this is the challenge 16, like a month ago. So here you have all the people from the club who have done the challenge. And if I click on one of them, Martial, for instance, who you may know, you will see his solution. Here it's a video embed. And so he's actually done with Glide, this challenge, for some reason, I don't know. Yeah, and now I can rate and I can say, okay, I confirm that what he's done is valid, and I can make comments. And then so you have other people here who have commented, say, oh, this is good. And so we discuss. So this is all the concept, and in here there's a library where there is a lot of content. So it's also, behind this, I have a pretty big Airtable base where there's a lot of different things, a lot of categories, because everything is categorized. There's the meetings, but we have nothing coming, but yeah, so this is not going to be interesting. This is a list of the weapon room. So this is all the APIs we use in the challenges, for instance. So we're trying to categorize them. Yeah, that's about it. The leaderboard, for instance, if you want to see, because every time you build a challenge, you gain points. So Olivier, for instance, has actually almost like 360 points. because he's done all the challenges. He's commented on all the challenges. So yeah, you see all the people who are part of the club. Lorraine, who's not here, I think, but she was here this morning. Yeah, that's about it. There's not that much. I use the Stripe integration because people have to pay to get in. There's also, they have to make a test to get in. So it's a lot of, like all tools, like a lot of forms, a lot of database and rights and things like that. They have some groups. So yeah, that's about it. Just a very quick thinking. And yeah, I think we're all set.
Questions?
Is there more? We can have questions
Yeah,
with
we
the
can
coffee.
chat. There's still some more bocadillos. If anybody wants to see the back end of Softr, like the studio, we can just plug in our computer and show you on the screen. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for coming. Also, can I get a picture?